Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. Going to get started with today's before market close video. I'm going to make today's live stream public because there is a lot going on in the markets. So before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, and you'll be notified on any future updates. Going to dive in, like I said, normally we do these for PAL private members, and usually about 30 minutes before the close. It was a little bit late today, so we'll get right into it here. We got about 4 minutes left before the close, and if anybody does have any ticker requests in the PAL group community, just let me know and we'll get to those at the end. But we'll do a quick market update here. I did do a couple of videos yesterday on Tilray, one on Hexo, and you can check those out. But essentially, it's not looking good right now in the broader market, but MJ's holding up relatively well. I was pretty surprised there today. So going to get started. Obviously, we had the markets were shaken by the CPI data that came in. We also had the jobless claims, which came in worse than expected. We also had retail earnings. So there was a lot going on in the markets today. And obviously, I mentioned yesterday, if you recall, if you've seen this post, I mentioned in the PAL group private community, I said, seems like the markets are just in limbo. This was yesterday at 9:57 a.m. Mountain time. So that would be 11:57 a.m. Eastern time. I said, seems like the markets are just in limbo waiting for CPI numbers tomorrow. We also have jobless claims and retail earnings. If I had to guess, I say it was going to be bearish leading into the November 8 midterms and in the US, and we start to bottom out and recover into the November FOMC interest rate decision, which I think will be better than expected. And then if we go back to the PAL group community here as well, I said here that we could see one more or two more legs down over the next couple of weeks. And I said targeting 350 psychological. And then after that, it's 325, the previous all-time high before the C19 dump. So it's looking like we could be heading to 325 at this point. And where did we hit today? We hit 348. I said 350 psychological. So we got underneath of that. A lot of people probably had stops there at 350. So it went just a little bit below. And here we are, a monster move after 350 all the way up to 367. So that support that I said at 350 psychological was very strong support. And then if we do break below 348, the low of the pullback today, then we'll be targeting 325. And I see we have some people joining the stream. Welcome, welcome. Smash the like, help support me in the channel. And obviously, markets were rocked today. But again, we basically gave back we took back all of that weakness from this morning. And now Bitcoin's back into that same sideways range that we've been in, stuck right around the mid 1900s, right? 19,500. So we are in strong 50-minute uptrends at the moment, and Bitcoin did not pierce through our key support at 17,500. So that was the most important factor for me. If we zoom out to the monthly time frame, we've already had the EMA 12 and 26 bear cross here as well. But one thing I wanted to point out is we do have let me see, there's a lot going on in that one, so let me bring up Binance. So we do have a descending triangle here forming on Bitcoin. So in order to confirm, we need to lose 17,500. And if we do confirm, the target on the measured move here is about $10,000. So at this moment, we could expect more downside. And then if we zoom in to our other chart here, or zoom out on our other chart here, you can see that, oh, that's the wrong one. Here it is. So we had a head and shoulders. So we had the left head, right shoulder, and that head and shoulders is targeting 13K, which is the 0.618. I don't think we would get to $10,000. It's possible, but personally, I think there's going to be a lot of strong support there at 13,000. If we lose 17,500, we'll be looking at 15,000, which also lines up well here with the 0.786 and also psychological. And then if we lose 15,000, I think if we lose 17,500, we could be heading to 15,000 in a hurry, and likely, you know, in a couple hours, maybe it'll probably be a flash crash. But if we do lose 15,000, 13,000 is the next support. I do think that 13,000 would be the floor, though, based on all of the indicators that I'm seeing here. Monthly EMA 12 and 26 bull cross already occurring. If we take a look at our bull and bear list on the day today, we have BTC shorts obviously leading the decline today. HP, XLM, and APE. So APE obviously being targeted by the SEC, saying that it's a security, and Gary Gensler and everybody at the SEC is going after crypto, and everybody thought that this Ripple case was just about Ripple and XRP. Well, lo and behold, you were wrong. And if you thought that, it's about the whole crypto industry at large. Sologenic, QuarkChain, and Mara leading the bull list today. Flipping on over to SPY, and I mentioned this in my live stream from yesterday, actually. I said we had a double inside bar daily on Bitcoin. And I said that was the most likely scenario. SPY closed the day yesterday with a daily inside bar, but at the low, signaling that we could see more downside and tightening range. And then I said, watch for BTC to, form another inside bar because of that we were just waiting on the CPI data, right? Like I mentioned back here. So we were just in limbo waiting for this data today. And then we got it, ended up being bearish, obviously, because it came in worse than expected. And then we dropped to a lower low, but we didn't drop and break that 17,500. So I said, watch those daily inside bars. That's going to be very telling. And then sure enough, they both broke them bearish. And strong bounce now because of that 350 area being such strong psychological support. But we also have some bullish RSI divergence here on the daily time frame on SPY. And on Bitcoin, I believe it's on the weekly that we have some bullish divergence. Yes, you can see here we're kind of trending with lower highs and lower lows, but higher lows and higher highs on the RSI. I'd like to see us get over 38 on the RSI to really confirm that bullish divergence. But EMAs have been strong resistance on Bitcoin ever since the run up to all-time highs. You can see here trying to confirm it as support, lost it, resistance, got above it here briefly, but didn't hold it. And then we almost saw an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross and then gave it all back. And the clue here was the monthly chart, right? Being in a monthly downtrend. So what we were expecting was just a monthly lower high. And one thing that I want to mention here as well is that the dollar was a daily bull flag. So if we just zoom in on this one. So you can see here low to the high, higher low. It's still holding that daily bull flag target. Anything under 112 or over 112 we'll say is a daily bull flag target. So it's looking like the dollar wants more upside, and that would be bad for stocks and crypto. So if we do see this confirm, we need a break. We already started to confirm it, but we came back down. So we're seeing some weird action here. You would think that the dollar would have broken out a little bit more, I would assume. But again, this isn't the strength of the dollar per se. It's comparative to 6 other basket of currencies, right? Like the euro, the yen, the pound, the won, right? So this is all sort of manipulated and whatnot to a certain extent. But obviously, the huge comeback in the market, right? The S&P 500, DXY suffering again, but it's still holding on to that potential for a daily bull flag. And if it does confirm, it already started to confirm, but in order to confirm, to continue to confirm, we need to see a hold of 112. And we need to see a break of 113.92 resistance. If we break 113.92, we're likely heading up to around 115.42 as per that measured move. But SPY just closed, and we closed at 365 up to 366. We have bank earnings tomorrow, so all eyes on bank earnings tomorrow. But in terms of the weekly time frame, we haven't even started the weekly bounce yet. We're in a weekly downtrend with the high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we're in a clear weekly downtrend. Still in a monthly downtrend as well. Could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross, adding more confluence to the thesis that we could be seeing a drop down to around that 325, which is the previous all-time high on SPY. Also lines up with the .com fractal. So again, I've been preaching this day in, day out, but repetition helps, and I think everybody needs to hear it again and again because I've been calling for this major drop in the stock market for many months now, and no one believed me. And I said, this is the closest thing, this everything bubble of 2022, right, is the closest thing. The .com bubble was the closest thing we had to the everything bubble. When did the RSI peak in the .com days? Back in 96. When did the price peak? 2000. Then we went to monthly oversold. When did the RSI peak in this bubble? The everything bubble. Oh, look, 2018. When did the price peak? 4 years later. Exactly the same, right? So we're probably heading to monthly oversold. And then I took that .com fractal, and it's just eerily similar. It's basically, a spitting image of it. So if you don't know technical analysis and you don't think it works, well, power to you. You can do whatever there's more than ways to get to 2. I usually say, right, you can do 2 + 2 = 4. You can do 1 + 1 + 1 + 1, right? You can do 1 + 3, right? There's multiple ways to get there, but you can look at technical analysis as another indicator, right? With Bitcoin, we have fundamental analysis. You have on-chain analysis. You have, all this sentiment data. There's multiple ways to get to 4, right? And technical analysis just adds to your tool belt, adds more confluence, adds more signals, adds more indicators. And the more signals and everything pointing in a certain direction, the more confident we are, right? So anybody who tells you technical analysis doesn't work, they got their head up there, and they just don't know how to use it, right? So, if you're somebody who's a carpenter or something like that, mechanic, you don't know how to use a specific tool, and you say, oh, this tool doesn't work, but yet you go online and you look at all these other mechanics who are saying, no, you're just delinquent and don't understand how to use the tool you were given. So people are funny. So moving on to individual names, VEGA, MVMD, VERY leading the decline today on the bullish. We have WNW, Fubo, and Netflix. Also took a trade on Tesla today. So I made a call out to the Power Group private community. I said in the market electric vehicles, I said, not a bad idea to take a swing trade on Tesla here, folks, with a stop below 200. You could even be patient, try to get it closer to that support with a tight stop. No daily resistance for about 35%, could be a monster swing trade. I said, and then today, that was yesterday, I said today, anyone taking a Tesla trade, I'm in with a tight stop below 200 and a swing trade likely for a few days, maybe a couple weeks. I said, we'll look to sell it around 240, 250. If I get stopped out, I will try to get back in around 175, daily RSI almost in the teens. I filled at 208. Sam said adding 2. I said nice bounce so far. Tesla daily bounce underway. So if we take a look at the Tesla chart, you can see here we broke the high of yesterday. So 219.30 was resistance. Once we broke that, we started the daily bounce the first time since October 4th. So that was the first time in 9 days, 7 trading days. And we have increasing bull volume closing near the high of the day today. Looking good. SPY on the daily time frame as well. Closing right near the high as well, but didn't close over EMA 12. A little concerning. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little bit more upside in Tesla and would result in more upside for the S&P 500 because Tesla has such a high weighting in the S&P. But if you take a look here, we could be heading up to around 240. That's my first target, which is EMA 12, and then EMA 26 there in the 255 range, 257 be exact, 257.43. So that's what we're looking at, and we're getting close to coming out of daily oversold territory here. We do have earnings coming up as well, tentative for October 19th. I didn't vet that 100%. Not sure if that was set in stone or not, but say tentative for now. But yeah, that was a monster trade. So we got as low as 206. I filled at 208, and I set my stop just under 200 at 199. So if I got stopped out, I was going to exit 199. So what is the risk? So I filled at 208, was going to sell around 199. That's about a 4%, 4.5% risk. So stop loss just under that. So I was risking about 4.5% to make upwards of about 15 to 20%, maybe 23%, right? Closer to 25. So those are some good risk to reward opportunities. That's how you can trade. Again, I'm not a huge day trader. I'd rather not be a slave to the computer. I don't like having a boss. And when you're a day trader, your computer's your boss, and so's the market, right? So I don't need any money. I don't need any more money. I'll be happy if I never made $1 again in my life. So I don't need to be a slave to the computer, be sitting here 110% of my attention and just killing myself, killing my back, killing my leg, whatever it is that these people do that day trade. That's just not for me. I'd rather be financially independent, financially free, never have to worry about money again. And the data shows that if you just buy and hold, quite frankly, you make a lot more money. But personally, I do some trades here. This was a very obvious one. We had no resistance on the actual price action until 257, and we got very close to our 200 psychological, right? So I'm more of a swing and investor, more of a swing trader and investor, and this is more of a swing trade, right? So people could have bought it at 206, 208 when I recommended it, and then we had a high of the day at 222. That would have been a decent profit, right? Like if we just take 208 to the high of the day, that was about almost a 7% gain, right? So those day traders would have said, oh, that's a day maker, week maker, whatever it is, depending on how much money you're using. But again, I'm not here for taco gains. I'm here for life-changing gains. And I've already gotten life-changing gains from real estate and crypto. I don't care about 5, 10%. I'm looking for those 50 to 100x, right? We're talking 10,000%. So everybody's different, but like I said, I've got long-term accounts, I've got short-term accounts, and I take a day trade, I take a swing trade every once in a while, but it's mostly swing trading and investing for me. All right, moving on. HFMJ starting the daily bounce today, just like SPY. So everything following the broader market, but overall, we didn't really drop to a new lower low, even though we're seeing a lot of weakness in the market. MSOS, so still in a daily uptrend with the low, high, higher low, and higher high, just scouting a higher low compared to 879. But we still haven't started the daily bounce, haven't broken yesterday's high. So at this point, we'll be looking at the high of the day today. 1010 is key resistance. If we break that, we'll start the daily bounce tomorrow. We have a lack of resistance all the way up to 1313. And I mentioned as well, there was a monster trade on Tilray. If you were interested in a day trade or a potential swing trade, I said Tilray's still in a daily uptrend as well. Low, high, higher low, and higher high here, and then even another higher low and higher high. So key support was 283. Look where we hit 283. Perfect double bottom right there on Tilray. So if you just entered there, you could have entered here because and the clue was that the daily uptrend was still intact. So as long as 283 held, we were in a daily uptrend. You could have entered with a stop below 280, let's say. You could have risked about 1.5% to make over 15%, right? So those are some good risk to reward opportunities, right? So that's another example of what you can do. That's why we created PAL Group, right? Where we have a group of all these new and experienced investors where you can just pass around ideas before you hit the buy or sell button. We also have all these channels that automatically fetches all news. So we got MJ news, commodity news, crypto news, You can see ADA beat its all-time high. Not this cycle. Sorry, crypto news, but no, it cannot. Forex news. You got general news, real estate news, right? So I'm big into real estate as well. You know, I started an Airbnb, just eclipsed the $10,000 earnings mark in my 7th week. It's going phenomenal. Just hit superhost status. So again, if you're putting all your eggs in one basket, like whether it be MJ, whether it be crypto, you're only seeing half the picture, right? Or not even half the picture. You're only seeing like 1% of it. I've got mutual funds. I've got MJ. I own more crypto altcoins than I do MJ in my portfolios. I've got mutual funds, right? I've got real estate. I've got an Airbnb property. So and I'm looking at potentially doing a third property and a second Airbnb. But Tilray could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross as well. But man, what a monster trade there off that double bottom. Congrats to all the bulls who took that. But again, the clue was we were still in a daily uptrend and perfect to the penny double bottom. 15%, 16% gains after that. On the bull and bear list, we have Labs, XTRX, and Huge. On the bull list, we have TGOD, TLRY, and PCLO. Moving on to the US, so like I said, still in a daily uptrend on MSOS as well. I added Tilray and MSOS to my portfolio yesterday, and I've got an average on Tilray of about $5 USD. And MSOS, my average on this one's about $15 USD, obviously, traded on a US exchange. So yeah, it's now's the time where you want to be adding, right? And you could even draw a bit of a trend line here where we're still holding that trend line, right? Using the real candle bodies here. And you can say that we're forming a bit of a base, right? So that's what you want to do. You want to sell at resistance. This was resistance. This is support. You want to sell here, buy here. But if you're long like me, you don't care. You're just dollar cost averaging. You're waiting for the life-changing gains, the 10 to 50 to 100x, right? Again, I'm not investing in MJ because I want 5%, 10%, could care less. I can go over to Tesla and get, like I said, 5, 10% there and have a lot more liquidity and a lot less risk, right? Or even Tilray was a good opportunity. But I'm not going to be buying, MJ because I want 5 to 10% gains. That's great. Not here for that. Right, we're at all-time lows, and some names setting new all-time lows, and some names not far away from all-time lows. And MJ's only going to be legalized once. It's only ever going to happen once, right? So personally, to me, this is just time in the market is better than timing the market. It'd be different if we were at 52-week highs in MJ. I would certainly say take some profit at least, or you might want to look to sell and reload cheaper. Again, not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. It's for entertainment purposes only. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And yeah, I'm not here for pennies and taco gains. MedMen added that today. Oh, I'll tell you what I added today. So Tesla, no, I didn't add it. Yeah, I added the Tesla trade. Didn't take the Tilray one because I was focusing on Tesla. But I did add Tilray and MSOS to my long-term portfolio yesterday. And today for crypto, I added, oh yeah, Filecoin's a screaming buy, folks. Under $5, you got to buy that freaking thing. This thing could easily go 50 to 100x. This thing was just at $200 some not too long ago. I think $400 was the all-time high. We were talking 50 to 100x. So look at Filecoin. I added that one today. Also added Link, Algo, HBAR, and Filecoin. And I said that I held off on QNT and Theta, but I am looking at adding QNT and Theta on a pullback. Oh, let me bring up the MJ chat here as well. Also, a new House of Terpene strength from Hexo looks awesome. Can't wait for that. 10 mg as well, so that's sweet. Can't wait till Canada increases that though. But just added more CGC, High Tide, OGI, MedMen, and Oxley to my long-term no-touch portfolio. How many people do you think, let me know in the chat, how many people do you think bought on this gap up there on Friday after that Biden news when I specifically said we'd probably see, most likely scenario, a gap up and then a sell-off of 10, 20%, maybe more, and drop back to 350, 325. So, probably a lot of people bought it here and FOMO'd in, and then we gave the whole move back. And guess where Rod was buying? Right here. Didn't FOMO in. I did want more. I didn't care if I had to buy higher, but I'm certainly not going to buy after a 40% pump with no support. Just ludicrous, right? Again, technical analysis. We use it. It works. If you don't know how to use it, you know how to sign up for PAL Group, right? Just go to palgroup.ca, Pursuit of Wealth Group, pursuitofwealthgroup.com, and you can check out our memberships. But yeah. MedMen, Fit, and LWL leading the decline today on the bull list. We have AYR, TAUG, and Acreage. So it's looking good. Tilray, want to see a weekly close tomorrow over that 10-week moving average to remain bullish at 335. It's going to be key. Very, very key. But moving on. See if there's anything else. See what SPY's doing here after hours. Back down to 365, so slightly lower than where we closed. Tesla is still at 221, slightly lower than where we closed. But yeah, this is, I'm going to be looking to take profits around 240, 250. And you got to be very, very careful with your longs, folks. Very, very careful. The only thing I'm longing right now is altcoins, specific altcoins, the ones with utility that haven't hit their 3.618 fib extensions and things like that. Like a Bitcoin, Ethereum, they've already hit their 3.618. I have no interest, right? All out of those, took my profit and ran. Now I'm focusing on coins like XRP, XLM, Link, Quant, big into Algo and HBAR. Also Filecoin, super bullish on Filecoin. But Tesla could be a head and shoulders here. So we could see the left, head, right. If we zoom out to the monthly, this is a head and shoulders. And if we take the measured move, just a rough guesstimation here, it's saying that we could go all the way down here to the 0.786, which would bring us out down to about $100. So long term, if you're looking to add this to a long term, I'm talking, maybe 5 years out, maybe 10 years. We could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bear cross as well. So if you're looking for a long-term entry, again, we have no support after that. After 179, we have no support all the way down to $23, right? So from that support, so from 179, we could still drop another 86%. And what do we know about the markets? When they get irrational and exuberant to the upside, what happens? What happens when they go up like this? What happens when they go up 75x, right? What happens when they go up 8,600%? Amazon did the same thing, and then it dropped 95%, right? So if we could expect something similar on a Tesla move, right? How much did Tesla go up? From the low there, went up like 35x, right? So, but from the lows down here, we were at $1 all the way up to 400 and some dollars, right? So if we look from the low to the high, that's 41,500%, right? So you need to expect something similar like an Amazon, right? Maybe we drop 90%, maybe we drop 95. That would take us right down to that support at around $25, $23. Again, not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but you can be long on things. That's fine, but why do it when we're at, insanely, look at the monthly RSI. We were heavily overbought, right? What do I say all the time? If you know nothing about charts and you just sell when we're up here and buy when we're down here, you'll do better than 99% of retail traders out there. But people only want to buy when things are going up and they feel good. Then they convince themselves that I'm a long-term holder. But okay, that's fine. You can hold things long-term. Why not hold a SPY short long term, right? We're at all-time highs. We've got 10 years worth of gains in 2 years. The average gain on the S&P is 12%, and we had 120% in 2 years, right? So 10 years condenses into 2. Might the risk be to the downside, right? So if you want to go long something, go long short on SPY, and then use that profit that you make over the next couple of years in a bear market to buy more beaten down Tesla, and then go long. Might you think it's fine to go long on Tesla to be bullish 5 to 10 years out, but don't you think you're going to get a better price, right, than what we're at now? Absolutely. Right? Could we keep going to the moon from here? That could happen. Do I think so? Absolutely not. I think there's like a 2% chance that we continue to just go to the moon, right? Quote unquote, go to the moon. So be very selective with your longs. MJ, obviously, I'm comfortable holding those long term. They're at all-time lows, some setting new all-time lows. Tesla was just at all-time highs and it looks like it's about to break down and crash hard. So no interest in owning this one. No interest in owning Bitcoin and Ethereum that hit their 3.618 Fibonacci extensions. We'll focus on coins that haven't done that. We'll focus on ones with real-world utility, not the ones that do absolutely nothing. And then ones that are backed by ISO 2022 compliant, right? So leading into the biggest catalyst financial shift in our lifetime. All coins, but again, I'm just bullish for the medium term. I'm going to be looking to sell altcoins over the next few months, 6 months, I think max. I think we're going to see alt season, and then I really hope MJ stays low or doesn't go too much higher than it is right now so that I can rotate those profits into more beaten down MJ. That's the only thing I'm comfortable longing at the moment. And Edmonton real estate, specifically the condo market. Also, SPY short. I'm comfortable longing in that. So jumping into the chat right here real quick. I do have to run. I got a hard stop here in about 5 minutes. So we'll jump into, I'll see if there's any news here in the Power Group private community. Not seeing any at the moment. Cool. So Tilray up 5%. Why? SPY. Look at SPY. SPY is up 5%, dude. 5.6%. So when the broader market's pumping 5%, you better believe that MJ better be up. I have to actually argue that we should be up more than this. But yeah, from the low of the day today, up about 12%. But what do I always say? The rule of thumb is when SPY's up or down whatever percent, it's usually 3-4 times the amount in MJ or in individual names, even more in MJ sometimes. But yeah, if SPY's down 1%, expect individual names to be up 3%. If SPY's down 1%, expect individual names to be down 3% on average, right? So if SPY's up 5%, we should have saw Tilray up about 15% today. And we were close though. We were close to that. So that's why. And also double bottom and traders taking advantage of that, right? And we're still in a daily uptrend, and we had no daily resistance all the way up to 409. So don't be surprised if we see even more upside closing near the high of the day with an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross on deck, and no resistance till 409. So from the low of the day today, that's a monster trade, right? Like that's why I'm saying this double bottom with a daily uptrend still intact. You could just set your stop under 280, risk 4% to make 44%, right? Again, I can't stress enough. If you don't know how to use charts, like that's what. I'll never have to worry about money ever again because of these charts, right? And then anybody who tells you that technical, they're an idiot. Very, very low IQ, or they don't know how to use the tools that they were given, which is very reasonable as well, right? Because it's very difficult to do. It took me like 5 years to master this crap, right? It's pretty difficult stuff, right? If it were easy, everybody would be rich, but not everybody's rich. Rod, could you please look at Fubo, TV ticker Fubo? Yeah, so that was one of the leaders today in terms of the bulls, wasn't it? Yep. So 6%, daily downtrend, lower highs and lower lows. This is another one that had a double bottom, 352, 348. So you could have entered with a stop below, just below 350. I would have probably allowed a little bit more wiggle room than that on this one. But yeah, it's daily bounce underway for the second day in a row. Bit of an upper wick there. And if we take a look at the weekly chart, we're avoiding a weekly downtrend here as well. And we're still struggling with EMA 26. So if we can close over that white line on the weekly, big deal. So let's say over $5, we can get a weekly candle close over $5. Expect a lot more upside. And then we could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We have the low, high, higher, low, higher, high, but stuck in an equilibrium. So we have no clear higher, low, and higher, high. We just have this low, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low, lower, high. So we're stuck in this equilibrium at the moment. So just take a look here. So whichever way we break out of this equilibrium is going to be very telling, right? And now we're scouting another higher low. So we're getting very, very tight, and we'll expect a break soon. So you get this. So if we would have did this and then straight to a higher high, that would have been a weekly uptrend confirmed. But based on the size of that range, we were favoring equilibrium because of the size of the range, right? When something goes up like that and doesn't change a trend, you can expect that type of equilibrium, right? That's the most likely scenario. Doesn't mean it has to happen. It's just that's what technical analysis says. And then if we would have just went straight down, it would have been, if we would have formed that lower high and lower low, then back in a weekly downtrend, right? So again, that's why I stress, if you don't know anything about charts, learn what uptrends are, learn what downtrends are, learn how to use RSI. Only, if you learn to, when we're monthly and weekly overbought, learn to take profits or learn not to buy, and then only buy when we're down here in the oversold territory, and then only sell when we're up around here, right? Again, and if you don't know how to use uptrends and downtrends, check out powgroup.ca or pursuitofwealthgroup.com and check out the Academy page. Let's bring it up real quick here. So yeah, just go to powgroup.ca, pursuitofwealthgroup.com, click on Academy, free course, teach you how to figure out what uptrends and downtrends are, and much more. There's like 30 lessons and 3 modules. All right, but yeah, Fubo, just looking for this direction out of this weekly equilibrium. So, like I said, if we break bullish, we need to get above that 814. That's the range that we're stuck in. So you could set your stop under here. So 326. If you did that, you're essentially looking at about 100% move from current levels, and then you're risking about 20%. So it's still pretty risky. I'd try to get it closer to that support, because quite frankly, if we do get a bull move, usually we get a fake out first, right? We get a bear trap. And then they come down here and make it look like, oh, we're breaking it bearish, and then we get the real move, right? Or sometimes it happens where we break it, oh, we're breaking it bullish, and then we get the real move, right? So if you're looking to go long in this one, I'd look to get it closer to 325, 326 support there. But in terms of the weekly time frame, and tomorrow being the last day of the week, where would I like to see this thing close? I'd like to see it close over 403 on the weekly time frame. Let's take a look at the daily time frame to see if we got a golden cross. Yeah, we got a golden cross potentially happening over the next couple of weeks and months as well. We could see we could see a moving average 50 crossing through the 200 moving average. That's called a golden cross, and expect a lot more upside. Look what happened when we had the death cross. The 50 crossed above, down through the 200, and then we went on a cratering, on a never-ending crater move, right? So just completely destroyed. Now we're seeing the opposite, 50 below, coming up through, crossing through that 200. It's called a golden cross. So expect more upside. On the NASDAQ, bought 100 shares at 376 a few days ago. Yep, very nice. Yeah, so that's kind of like right around that middle of the range that I'm talking about, right? So could see a lot more upside here if we do get that bull move, and resistance nowhere up. So that's about 100% move. So congrats, that's a pretty good entry. Got my answer on Tilray already, perfect. Keeping it real, buying more Hexo, I'm happy it went down. Yeah, exactly, right? Just change your mindset. Just realize that this is more time to accumulate. Same with Tilray, I was happy because I was like, oh crap, I wanted to buy more Tilray. And now I got my wish. And yeah, it is what it is. And again, change your mindset. MJ's only going to be legalized once. Tilray and Hexo aren't going anywhere. They're number 1 and number 2. They're now working together. Tilray's number 1 in Canada at the moment, as per High Fire data. If you go here, I posted it here. They took the lead. Organogram in second, but this will continue to shift, and it'll just fluctuate all around. I'm very long Organogram, very long Hexo, very long Tilray. Canopy Growth, if you were watching the NHL opener last night, Connor McDavid commercial, showed it to Grant, the Pow Group community, shared that one. But yeah, BioSteel was on there, official, signed the deal with NHL and NHL Players Association, official hydration drink of the NHL and the NHL Players Association. And it was Connor McDavid and McKinnon, and then like the whole league drinking it. So I'm long Canopy as well. And like I said, CGC did close all their Tokyo Smokes. So all the retail, they're getting in retail. SSL and Hexo said that was the wrong move. They said if you're a producer, shouldn't do in retail. If you're only doing retail, like a High Tide or a Fire and Flower, great, do that. That's why Hexo has long-term investments, and they hold Fire and Flower shares and also SNDL. Because they had Inner Spirit Holdings, which got acquired by SNDL. I'm not sure if they sold that afterwards, because now they're kind of double dipping into producer and retailer, which Hexo said they didn't like. But they are big investments into Fire and Flower. And Hexo said, if you're a producer, shouldn't do retail. And then, sure enough, they were right. And they've been right about a lot of stuff, right? They're like one of the leaders in the space in terms of innovation and seeing the industry for what it is, because they're the best company in the world, in my opinion, in the MJ industry. And then Tilray looking to buy them, just like Apple got saved by Microsoft for $150 million investment. I bet you Bill Gates and Microsoft and Apple are pretty happy that Microsoft decided to save Apple from bankruptcy in 1997. Now we're seeing the similar $170 million investment from Tilray into Hexo. Why? Because Tilray probably knows Hexo's the best. And Microsoft probably knew that Apple's the best. They just needed a little bit of help. And the industry was new, nascent, emerging, burgeoning industry. And yeah, the number 1 and number 2 went to work together, went to shape on the industry. Similar things going to happen with Hexo and Tilray. We had the Hexo bankruptcy FUD and the Hell's Angels, bullshit, right? Excuse my friends, but just all bullshit. And yeah, Hexo isn't going anywhere. Neither is Tilray. They're actually going places. They're going to top 5 globally in the industry. Is my thoughts. There's going to be 5 to 10 big players in the MJ industry. Tilray, Hexo, and CGC, and OGI as well are going to be among them. Still remains to be seen in the U.S. because we don't even have full-blown legalization, right? This is 4 years now that we have of Canadian LPs under a legal framework, but we don't have any legal framework in the U.S. yet, and still a lot of consolidation and growth in the U.S. A lot of names still don't even have the whole U.S. covered, right? So they're going to have capital expenditures. They're either going to have to acquire companies, which is going to be more stock dilution, or it's going to hurt their balance sheet, right? They're going to have to dip into those cash reserves, and that's going to hurt earnings per share and everything like that, right? So you look at a name like Truly, but it's not really even outside of Florida, right? So it's got to worry about, 49 other states, right? So yeah, there's a lot that remains to be seen in the U.S. But yeah, I didn't buy any more Hexo. I got a buy order in at 15 cents. If it hits, great. If not, I've got over 50,000 shares. My Hexo bags are packed. I'm good with either or. But offer I can't refuse. Go down to 15 cents. I'm buying it. Added Tilray and MSOS yesterday. And then I went over my holdings that I added today. You can go back in the video if you missed that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people bought on that hype. Not good. Yeah, exactly, right? FOMO's a hell of a greed and prices going up makes people want to buy stuff in the stock market. But when prices are going up and there's no sales in stores, people don't want to buy anything if it's not on sale. But in the stock market, they only like buying things when it's expensive. It's pretty weird, isn't it not? Do you have time to look at? I don't, unfortunately. I got to keep going. QNGI. Okay, I'll take a quick peek. QNGI, NGY. Drop into a daily lower low, daily lower high and lower low, daily downtrend. One of the weaker names when a lot of names are bouncing. Definitely weak. Ugh. Yeah, hard pass. Don't know anything about this one. Weekly downtrend. It's not good. It should be, a lot of our names are recovering. Oh, it just did a stock split, 1 for 20. Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about this one, but weekly downtrend, monthly downtrend, monthly RSI is at 20. Not a bad idea to go long. I mean, if you're going to go long this name, maybe put $1,000 into it and never think about it again. Most you can lose is $1,000, and if it goes back up to where it was, that's about 100x. So $1,000 in $100,000. Other than that, yeah, if I were you, I'd just put $1,000 into it, $500, whatever. Turn that into $50,000, $100,000 in a few years, 10 years, 5 years, whatever it is. Great. If not, most you lost $500 to $1,000. All right, gonna wrap it up. That's awesome. Work together. Power play. You bet. Nice split. Cool. All right, going to end it there. Thanks again for joining us on The Pursuit of Wealth. It's Rob with Power Group. Smash the like, share the video with anybody who might find value, and we'll see you again in the next update. Take care.